Autumn has arrived, a season that for me signifies the ideal time to unwind and slow down. Leaves' colors are transforming and daylight is dwindling rapidly, diminishing the warmth of the sun. There's a tangible sense that the year is gradually concluding, making way for a new cycle. I love fall with all its contrasts, being both beautiful and harsh at the same time, making me want to go out into the woods and at the same time stay inside and enjoy a warm cup of coffee. If you also want to slow down a little during this autumn season, here are some activity ideas that I will pursue this fall. When the colors of leaves around me start to change, I suddenly feel an itch that I haven't felt all year long, and that itch is to make, and much more important, eat a delicious slice of pumpkin pie. It is hearty, spiced, and just feels like the right thing to eat with a nice warm tea or coffee. This year, for the first time, I made a plant-based pumpkin pie using butternut squash. It turned out amazingly and was actually pretty easy to make. The full recipe can be found in the description and can easily be made non-plant-based. I started off by peeling, cleaning and chopping about a kilo of squash into large chunks. I covered them with a neutral oil and placed them into the oven to let them roast low and slow until they were fork tender. I let the squash cool down and went on with the pie crust by combining flour, sugar, salt and cold margarine. I rubbed those ingredients together until a crumbly dough formed, which I covered with plastic wrap and placed into the fridge. I then combined the squash, coconut cream, brown sugar, cornstarch, and a lot of delicious spices in a container and blended it until smooth. After this, it's super easy. I rolled out the dough and placed it in a cake form. Then I pre-baked it, poured the squash mixture over it, and baked it again. This was truly one of my favorite pumpkin pies I've ever made, and will definitely make it again next year. Autumn for me also offers an opportunity for a digital detox. While summer thrives on activity and stimulation, fall signals a shift with colder and darker days, compelling more indoor time. The default indoor activity often becomes spending time on the phone or laptop, but this fall, I want to spend less time with digital activities than usual and use this beautiful time of the year to spend more time offline than online. For me, I've been reading more than in the last couple of weeks. I just started the book Karma by Sadhguru, which I really enjoyed so far, and I already have some other books lined up that I can't wait to get into. I also like to use the colder and darker times of the year to spend time moving my body in a way that feels good under the circumstances. For me, that means things like yoga or indoor biking. Moving the body and having other things to do that aren't online help me feel good mentally and physically. Mental health is a super important topic for me, as it can get a little challenging in the darker months. So doing things that feel good and getting into that festive season definitely helps me a lot. If you also face some challenges with this matter, I invite you to share your thoughts with me in the comments. In order to feel my best, I also try to go on extra long walks during autumn. Walking not only loosens any tension that might be inside me, but also lets my mind wander and enjoy the beautiful scenery, even though most days have been quite grey and rainy so far. Get out your winter gear and soak up that daylight as long as it is around. In the fall, I especially love the smell of the forest, which is completely unique to this time of the year. Also, you get to see and experience everything in nature slowing down and preparing for winter. This beautiful transformation is truly wonderful to witness. Personally, I also like the cold, how it feels when I'm outside, and the feeling of coming into a warm house after being in the cold. So, win-win. As the nature around you starts to change, your home and your garden or balcony might need some preparation for the cold months ahead. And that is something that I love to do. This year we collected all the leaves in our garden and made 2 big piles for our little hedgehog friends that we have in our garden. The leaves that we didn't need were put into the garden beds to keep them a little warm over the winter. Of course, gardening is much more fun during the spring and summer, but this year we really embraced this task and had a lot of fun doing it. It is the perfect offline activity to do outside and a great way to get moving. Of course, if you feel like it, you can put on your headphones and listen to some nice music or perhaps an insightful podcast. My final activity for this video is experimenting with new exciting drinks. This summer I discovered chilled teas for me, especially green and chamomile teas. This fall I already started with some big jugs of spiced warm tea. I don't really have a great apparatus to make loose leaf tea, so I just boil some water, add a sieve, the tea, and let it steep for a couple of minutes. This method is super easy and I drink way more warm tea like this. I also made some spiced coffee using espresso, oat milk spiced with cinnamon, cardamom and some clove. I sweetened everything with some honey, and even though I usually drink unsweetened coffee, this was absolutely delicious and fun to make. What are your favorite drinks for this time of the year? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to try out some new recipes. This was my list for this year with my fall activities, with my favorite fall activities in order to slow life down, in order to live a slow life. If you have some suggestions, maybe that I can try out maybe next year, I would gladly have your recommendations. So feel free to share those in the comments. Also, during making this video, I really realized that fall or the winter months really haven't been months in general that I really look forward to. At least for the last couple of years this has been the case, and only since moving really close to nature, to the countryside, this has changed quite a lot. Before, I remember what I would associate with fall or winter would be gray buildings, a lot of darkness, a very big absence of colors in general. People usually that would be very miserable. And since last year, since we moved here to the countryside, I fell in love with every single season. I no longer really have a favorite season that I can say, if I could change it, I would like to have this season all year round. I really love different elements about every single season. Even though currently it is raining like crazy outside, still I think the autumn here has so much personality. It is so interesting and so nice to live through this fall currently. And yes, it is harsh sometimes, it is cold sometimes, it is very rainy and windy currently, but also it is super beautiful and super relaxing in a sense, and I love it. And this is something that really has changed since moving here, since moving to the countryside. I have a much higher appreciation for every single season, and I'm already looking forward to the winter. Next week we're gonna get temperatures at night below zero, -4, -5. It's gonna get chilly soon. We're probably gonna see some snow very soon. We already had snow once, but I think we should see some new snow in the next 1 or 2 weeks. But I will take you guys along maybe in a vlog, so you can see how that looks like here in the Swiss countryside. So as I said, if you have any cool fall activity recommendations correlated to slow living, please feel free to share them down in the comments below. I would love to have new inspiration for the next year, and I welcome everybody that is new on this channel. Thank you very much for checking in, for being here. This is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.